InterMiami sits in first place in the Eastern Conference. We had a milestone for Messi, a milestone for Busquets. Everything is looking good right now for the Herons. We can talk about it all right here on this edition of the InterMiami Weekly Show. And welcome again to the InterMiami Weekly Show. Happy to have you with us, along with the Arsenal legend Kieran Gibbs. I'm Joe Malfa, and we are very lucky because week after week after week now, we continue to get to sit here and talk about Messi doing great things. The club is looking good. It's win after win. I don't know what more we could ask for, Kieran.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. Happy days. Happy days.
And as far as the Nashville rivalry, I think we could put to bed that it's really a rivalry because you need two teams to, have wins to make it a rivalry, and it's been about a year and 6 matches since Nashville had a win over InterMiami. So it's very good days right now, and it was another strong performance as far as the group looked, whether it was defensively, whether it was in the midfield, whether it was offensively. It's just simply not much more you could ask for right now.
Yeah, it was a really impressive win, Joe, especially after the start. Nashville came out of the blocks really fast and aggressive, and it took Miami a while. I think what was impressive was, how quickly they managed to turn things around. Because normally when you have those fast starts from teams, they have a tight grip on the game, and it's really hard to get the momentum back. But they realised quickly that they had to match the intensity, and they did that. They won their individual duels, and they got right back into it. The quality shone through after a while, and then when the third goal came in, it really took the wind out of Nashville's sails. That would be the pleasing thing for me, was how quickly they managed to turn things around.
Absolutely. Let's take a look at the highlights now. Plenty to get to.
Yeah, it was a difficult start, and obviously conceding a set piece, Tata won't be happy with, but it was more the moments leading up to that where we weren't winning our duels and winning our individual battles. But then after the 11th minute, that's when things turned around straight away.
It was the response you were looking for after conceding early.
Yeah, and Messi driving at defenders again, and manages to be in the right place at the right time, which he always seems to do, and Miami straight back into the game.
And from there, it just seemed like Miami took full control of the game. Even though the next goal didn't come maybe right away, the field was completely tilted for the next 20 minutes, and finally Busquets gets his first in the uniform.
Yeah, he just gets that run across the defender, and it's a brilliantly timed run and another great ball. These are really hard to stop because it's just in front of the goalkeeper and in between the defender, and the timing of the header is just sublime from Busquets.
And just like old times, again, it's Messi to Busquets from a corner. It's Leo Afonso who maybe was the most impressive surprise of the day. You didn't want to see him come on because it meant that Diego Gomez got hurt, and he is out for 6 weeks now, as the club reported, due to an ankle injury. But Afonso comes on, and shortly after he came on, he thought he had scored. Offside flag came up just barely, but it's very positive every time he steps on the field.
He was really positive when he came on, always looking to affect the game, energetic, determined to work hard defensively as well, off the ball, following up on second phases. I really liked his impact in the game.
And he impacted right here because he drew the foul that led to the penalty, which allowed Messi to put it away at 3-1.
Yeah, I like that he's always on the shoulders of defenders and always trying to look to run in behind and create that space, But yeah, Messi, I don't think we were going to doubt him from the spot, were we?
I mentioned at the top of the show that it was a couple of milestones this week for InterMiami. The first one, of course, being Busquets getting his first goal in the uniform, and the other one being Messi's 830th professional goal. He did it in 1,056 games. It's the fastest anybody has ever gotten to 830 goals. Ronaldo did it, but he did it in 1,156 games. So Messi, once again, continuing to put that debate to bed. He did it 100 games faster than Ronaldo did it. So Messi gets that milestone. Busquets gets his first goal for the club. Those two, again, looked very, very strong, comfortable, in addition to Suarez, who did get credit for an assist on the first Messi goal. Don't know how much he knew about it. It kind of ricocheted off his knee, but he helped create that whole play. But Kieran, the one that I want to talk a little bit more about still, and you mentioned it a bit, is Leo Afonso. We talk about the depth of this group and how over the course of a long long year and different competitions, you're going to need to have certain players step up. It's starting to look more and more like Leo Afonso is that guy. He's this year's Ben Hakramaski. He's this year's David Ruiz. Not that those guys aren't available still, of course, but he's that player this year to sort of come out of nowhere, so to speak, and have an impact on the group.
Yeah, and he looks hungry every time he comes onto the field, which is what I love. He's got that enthusiasm, and like I said, when you have that player that wants to work hard off the ball, it really takes the load off of the other players in the team, and I can see that in him. He's really hungry to affect the game. We knew that he was going to have a big impact and be ready when he gets his chance, just like a lot of the other players. And he seems like he's relishing the opportunity to grab his spot and stay there.
In the aftermath of getting eliminated from Champions Cup, I think it could have gone one of two ways for this group. They could have slumped the shoulders. They could have walked with the tail between the legs. Hey, we just got eliminated from Champions Cup. Now what? Maybe take a little bit of time to get back into rhythm for the regular season. It's been the exact opposite. As soon as that happened and they lost to Monterrey, it was like a switch was flipped and they got right back to it, and just game after game now running off wins in the main season. Yeah,
they've remained neutral. They haven't got too lows in the low, and they haven't got too high in the highs, which is what you need over the course of a season. That shows maturity in a team, and it's what you need to bring success. You may not win it all, but if you remain level-headed and humble, which I think that they have, you give yourself the best chance of success.
And if you go back to, I think, maybe the second episode that we did this year, we talked about specifically this, that there would be times in the course of a season that there would be a little bit of a dip. It's natural. No matter how many stars you have on a team, no matter how good the team is, it's a long year. There's a lot of competitions. There's going to be stretches where you lose a game or maybe you tie a couple games in a row, but it's a matter of, can you get out of those lows quickly and get back to the highs? And I think that's what we've seen with this group, where there was that little stretch in there. There were some injuries they dealt with. It was the loss against the Red Bulls in the regular season, plus the struggles in Champions Cup. But they come out of that. They go on the road, 70+ thousand in Kansas City, win. Colorado, get the result. You've got this game now this past weekend against Nashville, pick up 3 more points. Like, it's just week after week where they are showing and doing exactly what they're supposed to do, and Tata Martino just has to sit back and be proud of it, I would say, at this point.
Absolutely. Response is everything in football. Response and character will take you a long way. And we saw it the other night. That could have easily been one of those games where Nashville come out in the opening moments and they have a tight grip on the game. They settle the crowd down, and that can drag throughout the whole game. But that was really pleasing for me to see how quickly that they managed to turn that momentum around. That's not easy to do, and it shows that's a sign of a good team.
No doubt about it. And Nashville, again, hey, rivalry, maybe not, but it's been a little while since Nashville's gotten a win. It all really started back in Leagues Cup when InterMiami took the trophy. And speaking of Leagues Cup, we are now 100 days away from that tournament coming back into play once again. So put that on your calendars, keep it in the back of your mind, and it's going to be an interesting time of the year again, Kieran, where you're going to have to start tapping into that depth more and more, just like it was for Champions Cup. We're going into it, and even during that tournament, you're going to need to rely on some of these pieces to step up. And maybe of all the things for Tata Martino to be happy with or proud of at this point, I think the depth has to be near the top of that list, with guys like Afonso, Negri coming back into the fold now, doing what he's doing. Still the young players like David Ruiz showing that what they're capable of. You've had spot starts for guys like Ryan Saylor. That depth is there, and that depth is maybe what's going to carry this team through the summer with those competitions and with Leagues Cup.
Yeah, that's it. We're coming into the thick of the season now, and these are the moments where you don't really think that they have an effect over the overall season, but they really do. So this is the time where all of that work that the players have gone through, waiting for their chance, maybe sat on the bench for a few weeks and thinking that they're not gonna, get an opportunity. This is the time where your opportunity can come at any moment. So it's important that they remember that and know that their chance can come at any moment.
So another victory done and dusted, 3 points in the back pocket over Nashville. And you noticed in the match, it was pregame, no pink. no black. It was blue that the players were wearing, and that was all part of the initiative for Ocean Day. InterMiami and Frac Group joined forces for Oceans Day campaign dedicated to protecting our oceans. Their ongoing collaboration highlights a shared commitment to environmental stewardship and underscores the power of collective action in addressing global challenges. Frac Group's innovative approach to supporting Team Seas adds an exciting twist to InterMiami's home matches. For every goal scored and epic save made by the team throughout the season, Frac will donate funds toward the removal of plastic and debris from our oceans. And on top of all that, the warm-up kits look pretty sick as well. So it's a great initiative all around, and we all get to maybe just have some fun with more and more of these creative ideas, helping the community between the club and the partnership and just everything that comes with it. It's not just a team who's playing on the field. It's a club who's representing the two cities, all the different cultures in the area, and it's another great initiative to see. And it's going to be a great initiative to see on the road this week against New England, because another massive crowd is expected to be on hand. It's supposed to set the record for Gillette Stadium, expecting over 60,000 tickets sold. It's going to look a lot like it did a few weeks ago in Kansas City with the 72,000 against SKC. And Kieran, this is another great opportunity to just pick up points, because New England has struggled mightily out of the gates. They've played out 8 matches. They picked up 4 points. It's first place in the East against last place in the East. Yes, it's on the road, but this has to be another 3 points for InterMiami.
Yeah, I mean, listen, this is a great time to get a real grip on the league, out of the Champions Cup. So you do get a little bit of rest in between the weeks now. And obviously before the CONCACAF comes, you want to try and leave yourself up there as high as possible. So I'm hoping that they get a big advantage coming into this busy period now.
Absolutely. And going on the road is going to bring its own challenges. Especially with the injuries that are still affecting the team. We talked about Leo Alfonso. Is there anybody else who maybe sticks out in your mind as somebody who, in a road fixture like this, can come in, whether it's in the starting lineup or off the bench, who can really impact things and help the team pick up those 3 on the road?
Well, if I was to think off the top of my head, I would say Snyder Borgelin, Sunderland as well. I think he's had a good impact when he's featured. Yannick Bright as well in the middle of the park. I think these guys have been lively and left a good account of themselves. So I'm sure Tata will be looking at those to see how they can affect the games.
So 61 points, that's the number to remember right now. That's the pace for InterMiami with all the success they've had already early on pace for 61 points. It's obviously seems like it's going to be a conversation of not making the playoffs, but what seed are you? Are you going to have more home games in the postseason? Are you going to be in contention for the Supporter Shield and another piece of silverware to put in the cabinet? 61 points is the pace, and last year, if you go year over year, that would have been good enough for 3rd place in the Supporter Shield race and 3rd place in the East. So it's a good spot to be right now for InterMiami, and it's getting to that time of the year, Kieran, where there's really not much more you can ask for except for consistency. And I think consistency is maybe the hardest thing to come by for some teams. It's a matter of staying healthy. It's a matter of raising the level game in, game out. Consistency is maybe what derails teams at times when it comes to pushing for first place, pushing for second place. Is there anything that they could be more consistent with at this point of the year? Or is that something, too, where you're starting to see a rhythm, you're happy with what they've shown, and you just have to keep it going?
I mean, there's always room for improvement. I think that, we would still want to see the set pieces come down and those individual errors that lead to chances for goals. I think, they can definitely improve on that. But also, I think that they should probably relish the fact that they're at the top.
Right.
They're in the number 1 spot right now. Have that little bit of arrogance as well, which doesn't hurt, to give yourself the confidence and remember, that you are there and how you got there and why you're there. I'm sure that Tata will be wanting to do that as well, because, there's nothing more dangerous than a confident team, and you can really run away with it quickly if you get that momentum. So that's what I want to see from the boys. That's
another great chance to pick up those 3 points to help out the group now this week, to stay at the top and remain in that positive form. We thank you for joining us this week on the InterMiami Weekly Show here on YouTube. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you can get every episode every week, all season long.